We shall start now. Once again, good morning, everyone. We are back with our second event of Coalies 21, the panel discussion, where we host industry leaders to discuss some of the buzzing topics in the booming field of data science. We feel obliged to have with us four esteemed speakers from some of the top companies in the industry, and we are glad to introduce them. First, we have Mr. Anis Merchant, who leads the global digital applied AI and research business at Coast 5 Intelligence. He has guided sizable digital transformation initiatives for numerous global Fortune 500 clients across industries including retail and e-commerce, travel and hospitality, technology and media over the past 24 years. His current role at Course 5 chiefly involves guiding product innovation, setting go to market strategy, scaling the global business, and building the strategic partner ecosystem. We welcome you, sir. Next, we have Ms. Sonal Mudalia. She is the AVP in Advanced Customer Analytics and Data Science at HDFC Bank. She comes with more than 15 years of experience in banking analytics with a proven ability to design and execute strategy and new technology adoption. She brings a strong combination of advanced data science skills and deep domain awareness. We welcome you, ma'am. Our third panelist is Mr. Shailendra Kadre, who is Worldwide Product Analytics Lead at HP. Sir is a machine learning, deep learning, product development, and digital transformation professional, having a rich 20 plus years of industry experience under his belt. Additionally, Sir is an active honorary advisor to universities on business analytics, ML, AL, and other engineering courses. He is also a certified project management professional from the Project Management Institute. It is a pleasure hosting you, sir. And last but not the least, we have Ms. Archana Vadhva. She is the founder and CEO of Analytics Saves at Work, an AI and SaaS company. She holds a rich 20 plus years of global experience and also has worked as a chief data officer and head of analytics at HSBC. MAM has also been honored as Women of Excellence in 2020 and as one of the most inspirational women entrepreneur in 2018. She is a visionary change leader who believes in data monetization and making complex things simple. We thank you all for taking time from a busy schedule and look forward to having an insightful session. Now, with that, we would like to start our panel discussion and like to hand over the control to Archana ma'am, who will be moderating our discussion today. Over to you, ma'am.
Thanks, Darvi, and thank you, Goa Institute of Management and Paregyan, the Data Science Society, to invite us to the panel discussion. Today we have, hi everyone, today we have a very interesting topic, which is the current boom in data science only a bubble? And in the next 1 hour, we would like to answer as many questions as possible and see how this conversation goes. And we also would want you to be sending your questions in the chat box, and we can take the questions after for the last 15 minutes. So, starting the introduction, what is data science? Yeah, we all know, and I'm sure that many of you are already studying data science, so I'm not going to go into that much. But just to tell you the scope of what data science industry is today, as we know that the volume of the available data has grown exponentially, there is disruptive technologies in AI, and there is the huge computational power and storage, which has improved now through cloud. Yeah. And we know that by 2025, around 175 zettabytes of data would be generated on annual basis. So looking at this colossal amount of data, what is the scope of data scientists in the industry? And after being tagged as one of the sexiest job of the industry, and very recently Harvard Business School has said that data scientists are the new breed of innovators. I'm opening this discussion to all the three panelists, Shailendra, Anis, and Sonal. And my first question is, what do you think about it? Is the current boom only a bubble? Over to you, Shailendra.
Yeah, thank you first of all, Goa Institute of Technology and the Data Science Society Paregyan for hosting all of us. And it's a very interesting topic as I see. And thank you all panelists and all the members who have joined here today. So first, I would like to say that data science is definitely a boom. Definitely a boom as we can see. But is it a bubble? I think it's a hype. I think it's a big hype. I think which is being created by the training companies around, and they are spreading all kind of. They are planting all kind of news in media, and they are telling that it is a great, it is this and this is that, this much percentage, this many million job will be created worldwide. So they want to sell their trainings. So I think it is a mostly a hype which is created by data training companies, sorry, data science training companies, and in some time or the other, like it has to break. But they in meantime, those companies will be earning a lot of money. And whatever skills they are teaching, I think those are not the exact skills which you need for you need to succeed as a data scientist. So I think data scientists mostly they are teaching mostly is the data modeling. That is the 90% part of their training programs. But what I see, data modeling is only 10% of any data science project. So what you need more to succeed is Python, more of programming skills, more of SQL skills. So those skills are more which are needed. You should be first expert in that. And if you are starting learning data science, if even if you for 1 year, even if you don't touch any data model, or in Python you don't even touch scikit-learn, that would be enough for you. Just you should be great at programming Python and SQL first. That will
So,
succeed better. Yeah.
so Shailendra, again, I'm coming back to the question. I mean, do you think this is the whole hype is created by the training companies, or do you see there is more to the story than that?
I think it is created by training companies and the guys who are entering into it blindly. They are not thinking much without like what they are getting into. If everybody, then everybody is telling data science, data science. Media also planting a lot of stories based on that. So everyone is entering blindly. They are not thinking what they are getting into. And once they are enter into that get trained 6 months, 1 year, and they go in the job market, they see there are thousands or even lakhs of students who are already trained in data
Yeah,
science and they are trying for that.
we will come to that, in some time about, the future of data science. Over to you, Sonal, about, what do you think? Is that a bubble?
Yes, sure, Archana. Thank you for having me here today. Honestly, if I have to personally, my personal experience would say that it's just the scratch of the surface right now, and we have
Mm-hmm.
lots more to see in data science. So, if you're
Mm-hmm.
looking, if I have to draw an analogy with food, it's the salt that is there in the food. It is required at the right amount across whatever that business that you're doing. So, in
Mm-hmm.
fact, if I have to elaborate into actually which are those areas where I see there's going to be huge demand for data science, is first is the predictive analytics. We need predictive analytics to understand where the business stands right now, where it is going to move in the future, understand where the
Mm-hmm.
customers are churning, where there is potential wallet size. These are all possible through the algorithms that we're actually designing. There's going to be huge demand in real-time analytics. Archana. Right now we're talking about that as moment marketing. Catching the customer at the right moment is very, very essential. There is going to be a huge demand for natural language processing. Currently, if we are seeing there are 80% of data that is getting captured is in unstructured form. How are we going to actually interpret this information and make it use in business language? It is very important that we have such skills available. And
Mm-hmm.
lastly, the computer vision. So it is actually helping save lives somewhere to probably check the quality of Domino's pizza. So there is definitely a huge scope of data science in the industry right now, and we're just the tip of the iceberg right now. There is a huge more lots to do. That's my opinion. Yeah, maybe the
Okay.
talent is
Yeah.
what Shailendra explained. Yes, there has to be a balance between what the talent and how are we getting that from the industry. Yeah, that's my point of view.
Mm-hmm. Okay, we'll come back to that further. Anis, what are your views about that?
Uh, it's a bubble and a boon, I would say,
Mm-hmm.
both.
Mm-hmm.
I often joke around with my friends and my colleagues that I'm going to have my son become a CEO, because if everybody's going to become a data scientist, somebody needs to manage them, right? So
Good
I'm
one.
training
Yeah.
my son. So I'm training my son to be a CEO rather than being a data scientist, candidly. And there
Uh-huh.
is this entire FOMO mentality, the fear of missing out, and it's not
Uh-huh.
just within the student community and the training institute community, because now every training institute or a college or an institution has now training data science programs. Fortunately or unfortunately, you can put it in both sides.
So
as
as the
well
MBA
as
schools too. So as the MBA schools too, right? Yeah.
yeah,
So,
yeah.
mhm,
And the other aspect is if you look at the previous disruptions which have come in into the space, right? Whether you look
mhm,
at 1970s of quality practices where Six Sigma, Kanban, Kaizen were like pretty big. And organizations had to declare that when they were, the listed companies had to declare because they are investors and their people wanted to hear, oh, what are you doing
mhm,
in quality? When the
mhm,
IT boom or when the IT boom came in 1990s or the technology boom started happening in everybody wanted to hear, okay, are you are you bringing in computers? So they were talking about IT investments. When
mhm,
ERP and CRM implementation came in 2000, everybody wanted to have that. And when the entire
mhm,
data and analytics has started in big time in 2010 onwards, it's
mhm,
been, every company wants to say, oh, we are doing analytics. Everybody wants to hire a chief data analytics officer. Everybody wants to hire a chief digital officer. Everybody is now doing that. Now 2020 has proven, oh, digital transformation is the big thing. Now I'm sure every company wants to say that, oh, we are digitally transforming ourselves. But that's where the catch is, right? I would just put it why I say it's a bubble, because everybody cannot become a data scientist. Every company cannot just change their DNA over the years that, oh, we are now a transformed company, because you cannot forget your customers who recognize you for who you are. You cannot be just a different company altogether. And third thing is, people need to realize where data science really applies and where it doesn't apply. Today, the
mhm,
science, like as Sonal said, we are still scratching the surface. There's
mhm,
so much unknown from a perspective that the science is evolving. Okay.
mhm,
And everybody is saying, oh, we want to be an Amazon, we want to be a Netflix, we want to be a Google because they are the AI leaders. We all want to be there.
mhm.
They were born data company, they were born analytics company. Companies which have been there for so many years, they cannot just become Google and Amazon overnight. So I feel that's where the bubble is. Companies will soon realize, and there are many companies who are soon realizing that they have to take a step back on their
Mhm.
analytics and AI investments and then move forward,
Okay.
right?
Yeah.
Rather than
We'll come
just
to that. Yes.
so I
Yes.
would
We'll
I
come
would
to that. Yeah.
I would say it's a bubble.
Okay, perfect. So we have a good start here. Then two of our panelists are saying it's a bubble, and one of our panelists saying it's just tip on the iceberg, right? Yeah. Mhm. Okay. So Shailendra, coming to you, if it is a bubble, when do you think it would burst?
See, from the student coming like job seekers point of view, that bubble I think burst already is there. Those guys
Mm-hmm.
are going to find in the job market and they are finding that there are just too many. And everybody is there in this field. And they find that when they read the job description of the job description given by even companies, they find that they don't have even the 10% or 20% of it. So one of my friend who is a job seeker was telling that there are so many variety, much variety of job description. So I don't know what to learn. So I said that
Absolutely.
you learn Python, SQL, and basic data, basic classical ML, and then apply for whatever jobs matches your skill. But
Mm-hmm.
SQL and Python is very important. But guys are not realizing, and yeah, all the training companies are also teaching only data modeling. So I think
Mm-hmm.
from job seeker point of view, that bubble already has busted. I think that's what my
Mm-hmm.
point of view.
Mm-hmm.
But as from industry point of view, as Sonal says, there is still
Mm-hmm.
a lot of demand and a lot of we are scratching only the surface. But
Yeah.
we are not still getting data scientists with right skills. So
Yeah. I think that's a very, very fair point because there data scientists probably as a role is required, but are people having the right skills to get that role, right? So yeah.
and just
And
one
if everybody tries to make become a data scientist, right, and
that's
then
what
where
is
are we
happening
like?
today. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what is happening today.
Uh-huh.
So only thing what I want to add is that data scientist means you first should have a business mindset.
Mm-hmm.
So business mindset, you have to move toward data and then analyze the data there and see that what value data analytics can add to the business, what business impact
Mm-hmm.
can add. But what most guys or most of the professionals they are trying to present themselves as generalists in data modeling. So just
Right.
technically analyze the data and present some charts in front of you and say that I have done the job. But when that job goes to the manager or to CEO or to a marketing vice president, he sees no value in it because there is no actionable item in that whatever he has done, because he doesn't have a business mindset. So that's how you have to approach.
So you are saying that business mindset is also required along with some key skills and not just the data modeling skills, right,
Business
Shailendra?
mindset is most fundamental, and then you bring
Yeah.
the data and programming skills. That's what I
So
would say.
guys who are hearing from this MBA school, you have
Yeah,
to
I support
understand
this
that
MBS
yes,
guy. Yeah.
business is the key to even make anything into actionable insights, because otherwise you're just doing something and you don't even know what you're doing, right? So yeah.
No, I
Okay.
congratulate
Okay.
these Goa MBA guys that who are doing MBA, so they can become very good data scientists later on.
Yeah. Okay, coming to you, Anis, you also said it's just a hype, it's a bubble. When do you think that bubble would burst?
So I would take the reference of the 2000 bubble. Okay. And
Mm-hmm.
that's why I'm sure people are looking at, okay, because everybody is talking about this next bubble, right? Like there was a conversation about startups, big funding coming in. Yes, there were certain startups which tanked, some of the big names, and some of them didn't. I don't think so. This bubble is going to burst and it's going to burst ever, because people think that there was an IT bubble and it bursted. It actually did burst. It morphed.
Yeah.
It realized, and it went into a different height.
It
So for
becomes like
me,
a way of life. It becomes like a
yeah,
way of life, right? So
yeah. So
IT
this
is
AI
never
bubble,
going to be the core. Yeah.
yeah. So AI bubble is not going to burst. Okay. When I say it's a bubble, people need to realize what it is and what it isn't. Right. Right now, everybody is clouded, and especially individuals who are changing careers or looking for careers. They all feel, oh, let's go behind AI. And I can give you another family reference, not going far out. My own brother-in-law, he completed his graduation. I coaxed him, why don't you learn digital and all of that? And he comes from a business family. And if everybody has seen that Three Idiots movie, and the photographer in that, the entire family was saying, go in this. He said, no, I want to do my own business. I'm in trading. Let me get into that. He used that word, मैं खुश रहूंगा उसमें. So it's not going to burst in that way, where people are going to realize that it's probably not my cup of tea. There are other career choices. There are pieces of the puzzle. Actually, as Shailendra was saying, understanding business, candidly, I would put it out here. You can still have a good career in data science and do not know anything about Python also.
Okay. Yeah. I have to move on.
So
I have to move on from here.
I would just
Anis,
say,
I'll come back.
Yeah, I would just say, I'll just end it on that particular point, that data science is not equal to AI career. There are many more things in AI career.
Okay. Perfect. Now that's your personal view. I want just a quick one from industry standpoint. Not specifically to what your company thinks, because it's a disclaimer, right? That's not what your company thinks. But if you have to see from the organizational standpoint, do you think it's a bubble? Quickly, just yes or no, and we will just move on from there, because I'll come back to that later. Yeah, who'll start? Sonal?
No, honestly, from the bank's point of view, it is definitely not a bubble. We're investing a lot in infrastructure and talent. We are ever expanding. In fact, right now we are trying to double our workforce for data science. So definitely, no, it's not a bubble.
Okay, good. Anis?
I would still hold that from an organization perspective and the clients whom we work with, they are all investing in a big way from a data science perspective. So, but they are also being cautious. So they are not looking at that hype. They are focused on the reality aspect.
Okay, Shailendra?
Yeah, from organization point of view, I will agree with other two panelists. It is not a bubble. It has just started.
Okay, perfect. Okay, so let's move on. So if from the organizational standpoint, it's not a bubble, and then we see that there is a skill gap between what is required and what people are trained in. What do you think? And we have discussed that, knowing the business is the key skills, and you have said Python, and so as SQL. Is there anything else which is required to be a good data scientist? I think if one of you can quickly answer that question, Anis, would you answer that question for everybody's
Sure.
knowledge?
So I love playing Lego, and give you the reference of Lego. So in
Mhm.
a successful data science program, you need variety of skill sets. Okay,
Mhm.
and we spoke about the business skill sets. We also spoke
Mhm.
about programming skill sets. You need data skill sets. You need hardcore technology, because data science, you build models, but if you can't apply it in, let's say, Salesforce, or you can't apply it in a SAP, or you can't apply it in
Mhm.
ERP, you're no good. Those models just sit on the aisle. They don't
Mhm.
get
Mhm.
really in the world. So really having that the technology angle, the data skills, and there are a variety of data skills, as Shailendra has been saying. Part
Mhm.
of data science is a lot of data skills. So data skills is also
Mhm.
critical. And
Mhm.
last but not the least is, I've been talking to one of the professors, and he talks about wandering skills, like having psychology skills. Like if you
Yeah.
are a wanderer,
Perfect.
what's the art of possible? What all is possible?
Yeah. It has
Thinking,
to be curious. You have to be curious. You have to know about the behavior of the customers. Yeah, and
yes,
come up with some disruptive business ideas to
yeah,
continue have that demand. Otherwise, it would be a problem, right? In future,
yeah.
you can't be tell us what to do, and there wouldn't be jobs like that, right? Yeah.
I just want to add one sentence to it. So whatever Anish said is great. I just want to add to it basically overall soft skills, convincing
Mm-hmm.
skills, business communication skills, and data presentation skills are equally important, adding to whatever Anish said. Thanks a lot.
Okay. Okay. Fine. Now coming to, because we see still the demand is going to grow, and we see a couple of articles in Harvard that the supply versus demand is still for the pure data scientists. We're not talking about anyone here, right? So for the pure data scientists, what is actually required by the industry, right? So there is a supply and demand issue, right? Now, at the same time, there are other set of students who think that if they don't learn data science, they're going to miss out, in life. They can't build their careers. Do you think that fear, what they have, is justified? Sonal, you can
Yes,
answer this question.
surely I'll take that question. So honestly, if you see in the bank itself, we have more than 1 lakh employees working, but the specialized
Uh-huh.
skill set would be less than 5%. So we still have the
Yeah.
95% workforce still working for this. If you're talking about, if
Mhm.
I like the analogy I made, that we are the salt that is required, but we still need the
Mhm.
other ingredients to serve the business. So quickly, yes,
Mhm.
we. It's not that it is you're not going to have a job, but yes, the skill sets, like for example right now the employees who are actually on the field, that will change. People collecting documents will be automated. So there are a lot of skills which are going to be automated, and there would be a lot of new different openings which will come out in cyber security. There'll be a lot of different other job opportunities which will open up. So yes, there is a balance which I could say that that both is
Mhm.
going to happen. So definitely
Mhm.
it's not that you're losing your job, but your job profiles will change definitely in the future.
Mhm. Now, when we talk about the data, I mean, the kind of data which is being created today, from a Netflix to a Facebook to the simply the social media data. I mean, it's so huge. So, on one side, so much data is being getting created. On the other side, we are saying, maybe that's a bubble. What are we going to do with that kind of a data, and wherein we can come up with totally new business models? We can totally disrupt the industry, or probably, I mean, it may go to monopolization. I don't know. But here I'm asking this question. I mean, on one side, we see that a bubble. On other side, we can say that if it's really cutting edge, curious idea, which actually can work. I mean, we have seen that as the Amazons and the Facebooks of the world, they literally run the countries these days, right? I mean, look at Twitter. Come on. Um, they can disable anybody's, Twitter account, and they have more power, and even they can influence anything, right? So why do you think that it's not going to grow? Okay, that's a counter argument. I'm just putting it across. Yeah.
So if I can add to it, I think already three panelists here are agreeing that from an organization point of view, data science is going to grow. And with this kind of data generated by social media or any other companies like Amazon, so if you have right analysis skills and if you do the right analysis, I think you are
Mhm.
going towards monopolization, and you can make a lot of profits. So already
Yeah.
Google, Amazon, and Facebook, they're already monopoly. What else they are? So and that all monopoly is with the help of AI and data analysis, right? So
Right,
already
right.
they have proven that what data analysis and AI can do.
Right. Okay. Let's move on. So let's look at what is the use of data science in the industry today. I mean, we have gone from whether it is a bubble or not to the skills required and the job market, right? One question before we talk about in the industry, what are the industries you think it's going to grow in data science, and where you can see that it's kind of a little bit maturity or not so much growth in the terms of job market and what we can do. Who will start? Sonal?
Right, Archana, with reference to the banking industry, yesterday we were attending a McKinsey conference where they're actually talking about banks servicing customers through bots. So out of the entire base of customers that they have, around 5% of the customers are actually being serviced by bots. So there is a lot of opportunity in the banking being more relevant to customers who are coming into our platform digitally. All the models that we are actually developing are being used by all the banking channels, be it direct banking channels. When you come into a branch, your profile is actually scanned and only specific products are only communicated to you, be it direct marketing on SMS or email. When you walk into our platform on a net banking or a mobile banking, you're definitely looking at relevant products. So there is a huge scope of data science in banking. That's definitely that I could say. For the other industries as well,
we will. Yeah. We can go to the other panelists for the other industries. So Sonal, from your standpoint, you think in banking it's going to grow, right?
Absolutely, Archana. It is definitely a growth.
Okay. Okay. Shailendra, I mean, why would you give a perspective on from the product industry standpoint and information technology industry standpoint?
Yeah, see, so BFSI industry, as Sonal said, historically has been always the early adopter of any technology which is coming to the market. So same thing has happened to the data science. They are one of the early adopters. And so BFSI industry, I will say, is the topmost. They will get most benefited by the data science and technologies which are coming. Already banks are having algorithmic trading desk which are profitable. Just one guy is sitting just for namesake and algorithm is doing all the trading. Still those desks are profitable. So BFSI will be one of the most because they have money and they are early adopter of technology.
Right, Shailendra. So let's talk about your industry, which is information technology. BFSI, we know. BFSI, Sonal has answered the question.
My industry, basically, I am in IT. So if you ask my profile, I do analytics for retail, HP.com retail. So it's a $800 million business. And we are heavily dependent on data analytics. So any retail industry or any industry we see which is on the web or the internet or which is powered by technology will be, I think, after finance, they will be second to get benefited by new technologies, AI and data science. And I think it is as usual, the government, public sectors. So they will be usually are the kind of last people to, or they are lagging behind, or they will be last people to adopt these kind of technologies. So that's a usual trend for any technology. So it is same for AI.
Anish, you being from management consulting, give your view on a couple of industries. And if in your view, that's also coming from, so we have started also getting questions from the audience. They're saying also tell if there are a couple of industry which is kind of overrated when it comes to data science, right? So
I will make a controversial statement as I've been making here. All companies and all industries who say that we are very far ahead from data science, candidly, they are still scratching surface. Because there is an industry stat, only 12% to 15% of organization data is being leveraged today to make decisions. There's the other 85 to 90% is still being untapped.
Which is open source data. And
open source, there is telemetry data. There is telemetry data, there is machine interactions data, which is still being untapped for many companies.
Absolutely. We haven't spoken at all about IoT, right? I mean, look at the scope of IoT in future, right? Smart devices. I don't know how many people have seen on Disney Hotstar something called Next. I think you should watch it. It's scary. The kind of how artificial intelligence is trying to take control over the world. Yeah, I mean, if we start getting the data from all devices, we won't be far away from what they're showing today. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
Go ahead, Anish.
so broadly, every industry is at a different level, and within that industry also there are different companies at a different maturity journey. Yeah, today there is a lot of conversation about BFSI, tech, retail, these new digital companies like OTT and over-the-top media companies, who are digitally born and data born. But candidly, even there, the data science adoption is still 20 to 30% overall from a company
Yeah,
perspective.
agreed.
There is a lot of room. So yes, there are companies and there are institutions. There is a question about government also. That government
Yeah.
institutions are still, I would not call them laggards. Candidly, it's because there are policies and governing norms which come in the way. It's not the data capabilities or the capabilities which are lacking. But I'll give you an example. Since I will talk about government. I run a podcast and I was talking to somebody who's a criminologist who talks about ethics in AI and criminologists in US. She was giving an example today in United States how the police is governed using data. And when I talk about police being governed, where do police cops actually have to go depending upon crime? That entire piece of rallying people around is being managed by data. It's not being managed by humans, right? So that is also, I would just say the adoption is across the industries. It's the will, when, and the how aspect which really makes a big difference.
Okay, really good answer, Anish. So there's another question coming from the audience now. I've started liking the questions, so we'll just quickly move to some of those questions. Yeah. So they're saying, are organization putting the money just to show they are ahead of the game, and versus they actually need data scientists? Now that's an interesting one. Yeah. I've just changed the question a little bit just to make it more clear. Yeah. And why companies are spending money? Do they actually need it? They do know what they want, or they're just putting money just to see where it can take them? Yeah.
So
innovation. Yes. Yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah. So, like I mentioned, that a bank is actually investing in technology and talent. So we have acquired a software. If you the nominal when we run models historically, we used to actually give around 200 plus variables that would actually come out to say that these are the variables. The technology that we've actually taken is actually giving us 200 million features, which can actually tell what the customer is actually doing. And it is not only taking static features, it's also looking at conversational features, which is really helping us enhance our models. It's going faster. We're getting faster revenues there. So definitely it's not that it's just to show off that, you have the money, you put it there. There is a need and it is benefiting the organization, and hence that's being done for our case.
Okay. Shailendra, your quick views on that?
Yeah, I would agree to Sonal in this case that there is definitely a need of data science in every data science in every industry sector. But a few companies definitely are doing it for show offs, and they're spending money on show offs. They don't know what they want, but in that process they are fooling themselves. They are not doing any favor or any show off. Nobody is getting impressed by them because they are not able to get any tangible results.
Okay.
So I would say there is a need in every industry. That's what I would agree to Sonal. Yeah.
Okay, so I would say the next question, which is very relevant to the earlier question, is this. Now, because of the pandemic, and also a lot of companies are doing cost cutting and business process optimization, right? Yeah, and automation. Now, if they are not generating the returns on investment, the data scientist team, do you think that companies, if they don't see the tangible value coming out of such large data science teams, do you think that they can cut down the staff? Yeah. Or do you think that they will continue to invest and they have the capacity to continue to invest in this? Anish, you want to take this question?
Sure. So I agree to Shailendra. So the answer to the previous one was mixed in my perspective, and learning from those scenarios. I'll give you a real example right now. I was talking to somebody who's now being hired as a chief data and analytics officer at a very big, large insurer. in US, and the person was being asked, hey, if we have to hire you, can you put together a 120-day roadmap of what are you going to do in data and analytics?
Yeah, they always ask
So
this question when I was hired. Yeah.
So the
90-day
companies,
roadmap.
so companies have realized that, we have had a lot of learnings. I would not call it mistakes. We've had a lot of learnings. We just don't want to get people in or start on a journey where we don't know the ROI, the question. So companies are critically evaluating their spends, critically evaluating engagements and programs which are yielding results in short term and long term. See, one of the issue with AI is we often think that we often overestimate the short term and underestimate the long term impact. Data science or AI is going to give you a far longer term impact, but unfortunately, companies want short term returns.
Yes,
right?
Immediately.
So,
right? I mean, I can give one example. I mean, just now that you're saying it, one of my clients, they came back and they had they wanted us to do like a benchmarking exercise. And then once they kind of started seeing that there is, I mean, across all banks and all insurance companies on the operational excellence part of it. And when they kind of realized that they're like one of the biggest ones, when they realized that they can't see what they expected it to see, you see, they're like, so sometimes we also want to see some fixed results because we are thinking we are investing our money here, but actually, it can be very, it can go against what you are thinking. There can't be such trends which you're not just investing to validate what you think, right? And that sometimes data can throw something very different. Now, in such scenarios, do you think the companies would just cut off the budget or forget it? I thought putting $1 million on this, I can, come up with really something which is great. But yeah, it's not coming. Then what will happen? What do you think?
I don't think so. People are going to cut budgets. People are going to repurpose those budgets where it matters. Okay.
Yeah.
Sonal and Shailendra are from the industry. I can tell it on their behalf. Is because these budgets are precious. If they get cut, they never come back. Right? Sonal is smiling.
So the budget
and Shailendra
remains in data science. So the budget would remain in data science, or the budget would go to some other department. Now that's the question. Yeah.
It will remain in data science, but how it gets repurposed to valuable outcomes is the question.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
I don't think so.
Yeah.
Sonal is going to give up her budget or Shailendra is going to give up her budget to some other team, right? They would rather focus it where it's going to give them the ROI.
Has that happened, Sonal, Shailendra, wherein you couldn't give something?
I think it's the other way around. We always short of budget in data science. So.
Okay, good to know that. Yeah. Okay.
And even we, in our case, we are $800 million retail business for US geography. So getting budget for AI is really difficult because guys are like managers they are generally very old and very conventional, and they're generally very difficult to convince them on value that data science can create. So generally difficult to get budget. And we get less budget, I think, less proportion than.
Okay, so here we have another view. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I mean, it happens in many companies, right? And even if some of the companies are like really old one and doing really well, but when it comes to putting money in data science, they want to see some clear results and they don't want to put some money in just for the innovation purposes many a times. Yeah.
And I have seen cases like where like company officials they say that I have this data, this kind of data. They don't know data what kind they have. You talk to my subordinate, he will tell you what kind of data we have. And we have this much budget. And as a data analyst or as a data consultant, what can you do with this data and within this budget? So they don't know what they want. So they are asking you that what can you do in this data and this kind of budget. So that's where your convincing power, your presentation skills, your business communication skills, that's where it comes into play as a data scientist.
Right. Okay, fine. The next question is, which is again very relevant to whosoever is today being audience to this panel discussion. They're saying when we are talking now, having this conversation, we have kind of understood that the real data scientists need the kind of skills, the cutting edge skills to be a good data scientist, right? Only then you have the future. And if you're just trying to go into that ship of being a data scientist, yeah, and we're trying to learn some of the very difficult skills which need a lot of experience and continuous learning, do you think we are, but nowadays companies are just wasting potential of data scientists. So is and when companies are asking them to do just regular work, yeah, do you think that data science, pursuing a career in data science is actually worth it? Yeah, Shailendra.
So, like my advice to like kind of if I can am able to give advice to newcomers is if you are coming to business, like first concentrate on business skills and people skills in your initial years. You concentrate on those skills, and later on, if you feel that you are not getting anywhere in this with these skills, business skills and people skills, then very much you can learn data science within 6 months, 1 year, and you can get into data science. And as far as learning is concerned, this knowledge economy, in any field you go, continuous learning is the norm. Without learning, you cannot survive even for 1 year. So if you are not prepared to learn you have to be daily learning or monthly learning, you have to have a target. So it has to be continuous learning. So, and your whatever business skills and people skills you have developed, they will be definitely used in definitely useful to you as a data scientist. So I think these skills are more important than technology and data skills.
Okay. So how much time are we left with? Okay, we have 15 more minutes, right? Another question which is very relevant to the audience here is they're saying, how do we evaluate a company, whether that's a company where we are going to learn something or they're just going there and doing some basic work, yeah, and not helping generating any ROI or not even for personal growth, they can't do much. So who would try to answer that? Sonal, I'll start with you.
Honestly, now we have a lot of surveys available, which is just right in front of us. Thanks to Google, we can probably Google it out and understand which company is actually genuinely doing work. The investor presentations of every website and company talks about what they are doing, what is their future lying. So before joining a company just because your friend is into that, it is better to research about the company, understand what is the long-term perspective of the company, where do they stand in data science. If they are investing in data science, definitely going to be there in their reports. So an advice to all of them would actually joining this field is to understand where the company is actually going and how much of it is coming to you as a benefit. So yes, there should be a lot of research before going into a company.
Glassdoor.com will be very useful.
Yeah, there are a lot of research companies which are come up actually.
Okay, we have another question. The mass layoffs in the technology industry, including many data scientists, have many saying the talent bubble has finally popped. Okay. The pandemic gave a good reason for organization to decrease the compensation for data scientists, which was earlier soaring high due to the rising demand. It is true that the number of candidates had been increasing exponentially in data science over the past 5 years. So do the companies, so what I'm making it simple, do the companies today have that power? Because earlier, like 5 years back, when I set up my own company, of course, it's very difficult to get a good data scientist. Now, do the companies see that there is actually the talent available? They can reduce the salaries, they can kick them out if they want. Yeah, they can get new resources. What do you think? Where is the industry going? Yeah.
So, like pandemic will not be forever. Like say another 6 months or 1 year, this layoffs will be going on. And as far as data scientists are concerned, they are always a accessory kind of thing. Actually, it's not a business mainstream. So, data scientist and another thing with data science is that data scientist is the data science stream is that they do not scale up as large as IT guys. So, suppose there is a IT team of 20 guys, then only 1 or 2 data scientists will be required. So initial 6 months or 1 year, this phenomenon may go on that they may remove data scientists because they are short of budgets and those kind of things, and they can reduce the salary. But in the long run, if they have to stay competitive, they have to hire data scientists with good salary and data scientists with right amount of skills, right kind of skills and good experience. I think they will always command good salaries. Maybe for freshers, initial salaries may be less, and when they prove their worth, their salary can be increased. But I think they can't survive with without data scientists.
Okay, so your answer is that it will continue to boom in some ways if you have the right skills. Okay, now looking at a very different thing in terms of how the evolution of data science in the coming years. Yeah. Now, on one side, and this is probably the last two questions because we are almost done, we have to kind of summarize. Yeah. So, in terms of the data science, do you think that data science as a function should be a central function in a company? Or do you think data science can be attached to, let's say, each of the products and the services? So I would like all the three panelists view on that because you all come from different industries. Yeah. We'll start with Anis.
I would say it should be a federated model, or the earlier model is called the hub and spoke model. Actually, there are some other evolving models like a beehive model also, okay, which are also getting
If you
evolved.
can explain, if you can explain for the audience.
Yeah. So the hub and spoke model or the federated model is, you have a center of excellence who's focused on developing, experimenting, doing R&D, and also building standards, whether these are standards from data privacy, standards from a data governance, standards from an AI, and also incubating ideas, because candidly, there is every day new paper coming out into the market from the big FANG companies as well as from large institutions. So what are those models or what are those new science can be applicable to the organization, to the stream? So you need that hub which does that. And then you need the spokes. When I talk about the spokes,
and each of the function. Okay.
Each of the relevant functions, I would say, not in every function, which really needs that support and is able to manage that. One of the questions which you asked, Archana, is how can individuals evaluate companies who are really sophisticated? I would give a tip: look at the job descriptions. If if they have mentioned all skills, like you should have deep learning, you should know SQL, you should know Azure, you should know all of that. They don't know how to hire, and they are the worst company you would ever go to from a data science perspective, right? So I would say, similarly, when you're working for spokes, you should work under a manager or a management team which knows what is that skill, and they are able to survive that spoke. So that is the hub and spoke model. I would say is a big one. It's a big win for many companies.
Okay, so Anish, you have another question coming there for you, specifically for you. How are firms, individuals shorting this bubble of data science? Your reference LinkedIn post comment. Did you put some LinkedIn comment post? Is it? I don't know, but they're saying that.
So,
yeah.
I did say that I'm carrying a pin to burst this bubble. So, and I will be taking up in this. And somebody then asked me a question. Actually, the companies who are actually shorting it are institutions who are not focused on data science. Because they are focusing on developing social skills. If you look at the rise in coaching skills, right, there is a big thing happening about mental health. There's a big thing happening about focus, right? So those are the companies who are really shorting on data science, I would say.
I see. Okay, good. If anyone else, any of the panelists have anything to add to what we just discussed, they can go ahead. Otherwise, I will take the last question.
Yeah, I just want to add a couple of sentences. Like, I fully agree that it should be a hub and spoke model, as Anish said. But I think there should be a data culture developed within the organization, and it should be driven from the top, right, from the CEO. And unless the data culture is driven within the organization, all managers follow that kind of culture and believe in that kind of culture, I think implementing data science will not be very successful just in bits and pockets. It should be data-driven culture, data strategy for the organization. It should be an integrated view, integrated and holistic view should be taken for the organization.
Right. And now the most controversial question which I have for all of you. Now, we know that automation and technology has reduced the need for human labor, right? On one side, we are looking at what is our demand in the job, especially the data scientist. Another, it is getting automated again, to an extent wherein do we need those jobs in future, right? So what is the future on this? Will people still have jobs? I mean, whether it is data scientists or not, but once it is automated, what are human beings going to do in that case? Because on one side, data science and artificial intelligence is going to fuel that growth, right? And on the other side, at the same time, data science can reverse the phenomena too, because they can totally disrupt and come up with something which can again create jobs. So, I mean, what do you guys think about it? How it's going to play in the next couple of years? Yeah. We'll start with Sonal. What do you think?
Yes, Archana, actually, automation, if you're looking at it, we are looking at different aspects to whether if those meet the criteria, it's when we go into automation. When you're talking about initially whether there is actually a technological feasibility to do an automation in that area, whether the cost of developing or deploying that hardware is actually going to benefit that particular business. So definitely not all these jobs are going to get automated very soon. So the least possible jobs that I feel will get automated is definitely managing people. Like Anis mentioned, that the CEOs and the other managing people will never get automated. Sorry about that. So yeah, stakeholder interactions will definitely not get automated. These are some things that we need. Probably predictive works, which predictive physical works will get automated. So there are a lot of, still there is a gray area there where you say everything cannot be automated. We need people to work on these aspects as well.
Okay, good. Anis, what do you think?
Life is a full circle, right? What goes around comes around. So in my perspective, like you said, technology boom will happen. AI boom is happening. It's creating more jobs, but there are certain basic things which we all go back. Like I know a lot of my colleagues who've given up their corporate jobs and they've gone back to farming, right? So people have said that farming is going to die because there's automation happening. So now we have these organic, and we have all gone back to eating local healthy food in the 100, 200 kilometers range, food homegrown. There's so much happening in farming also, right? So I would just say life is a full circle. What goes around comes around. So it's not that jobs are going to go away. It's going to evolve. I would put it in that way, right? It's going to evolve. Evolve is the right word. Not going away is the wrong word.
See, I just want to add to what Anis said. So I stay in Bangalore. So recently, Karnataka government has opened up buying farming land for techies also. Techies can buy now farming land. So previously, only farmer could buy a farmer land, but now techies can also buy because they can do adopt better technologies and they can modernize farming. So that's what has happened in Karnataka. So across India now there is a wave going to happen that they will make farming easy for IT guys. And another thing is that you compare it with 80s and 90s computerization. So if you are very young guys, you just talk to your father or your big brothers. So 80s and 90s when computerization came, all the labor unions and even officers unions in many companies were opposing computerization. They will say they were telling that this kind of automation will eat away jobs. But what happened? Computerization created an entire
and
new
created
middle
more
class.
jobs. Okay, yeah.
Entire new middle classes because of computerization. So same thing will happen through AI. The jobs will evolve, as Anish said. New jobs will come and will prosper. So jobs are not going to go away. I think new type of job will come, and every day you have to be prepared to learn. That's all. Every day learn. Otherwise you cannot survive.
I think that's a very, very fair point. Be relevant all the time, guys. That's what is the advice of all the panelists. So I'll just close this conversation and then I can quickly summarize that. Yeah. So thank you very much, Anis, Sonal, and Shailendra. It's a lovely, talking to you today, and this very, very engaging, panel discussion. And we have come up with such good points. And now I think we are able to answer all the audience, and there are no more questions. So I would quickly summarize for today's, discussion, which is, okay, is that a bubble or not? We have different views on this one. We have few panelists talking about it's a bubble, it's going to burst. We have a panelist who would say it's just, the scratch on the surface, and there is so much which we can look forward to. Coming to the main concern of everyone who wants to pursue data science as a career, I would say that what we really talked about today is keep building your skills. That's what your speakers are saying. Keep building your skills, be relevant. Yeah, the jobs are not going to go. It will continue, but the form and size and how you would get it would be different. Your jobs keep on evolving. You have to be relevant and bring and understand the business so that you can bring some value to the companies, right? It can't be, oh, I have learned these 3 skills and I should get the best job, right? So be always relevant, bring some value addition to the business, be disruptive, be curious, and you would always have the job. Yeah. Couple of things which we are talking about in terms of the industry. We do see that all of the industries are continue to grow in data science. Some industries may have some more. I mean, technology. When I talk about BFSI, they have to have much more investment in that because you have challenger banks, you have now bitcoins. There would always be something. There's so much data being created. When I see IoT as an industry, I mean, I think we are not even, that's where I actually think there's a lot of scope which can actually change the way today we live. Yeah. So IoT, for personally, as far as I go, I would give it as the top one, followed by BFSI, and then anything which is disruptive, how you can use open source data would be so much. I mean, considering so much data is being generated, I mean, imagine the future, how we can utilize that and come up with the new disruptive Amazons, the Googles of the world, the Facebooks of the world. So it's all dependent upon, I think, some very smart data scientists, some very smart business people who can come up with the new ideas and utilize all that data. Now, when we come to, in terms of whether you would like to pursue that as a career, I think that's very personal thing to all of you. But what the panel is saying is it is worth pursuing it, but learn the right skills. Yeah. And I think that's all. I would like to close the conversation here. We have reached the end of the session today. So thank you very much to listening to us. Yeah, and it has been great having this discussion. So Sonal, thank you. Anis and Shailendra, thank you very much.
Thank
So
you,
back
Archana.
to you,
Thank you
Darvi.
all.
Yeah,
Yeah,
thank
back
you.
to you, Darvi.
Thank you, Anis. Thank you, Shailendra.
Yeah, thanks Archana,
Thank you.
Sonal. Thanks Anis.
Yeah, thanks.
So great moderation today. Thank God no fights.
I think the topic itself is very interesting, and we all are quite passionate
Yeah.
about
No,
data
your
science.
moderation also, I think it made it very easy and great.
Okay.
Yes,
Thank
yes,
you.
definitely. So, on behalf of Goa Institute of Management and Parigyan, we would like to thank you all. Thank you, Anis sir, Sonal ma'am, Archana ma'am, and Shailendra sir, for such an enlightening and interesting discussion. I mean, it's very interesting to see that how people like you from different industry, but then connected to the same domain of data science, have differing opinions on one topic, and how the discussion got driven. That was also great. Thanks to special thanks to Archana ma'am for that. And I hope definitely the audience liked the discussion and got to know some insights about the domain of data science really a boom or really a bubble, and whether it's going to really burst or not. So once again, thank you very much to all of you. And yeah, that was a great session.
Okay. Yeah.
Thank
And
you. It was a
yeah,
pleasure. Thank you so
yeah,
much.
one more thing. We would just like to take a snapshot. So just a few minutes. We'll take one screenshot so that we can create a memory out of it.
okay. Mhm.
So yeah, it's done. Thank you.
Done?
Thank you
Okay.
so much. Thank you.
Thank
Thank you
you.
so much.
Yeah, thanks everyone. Thanks
Bye-bye.
Parigyan. Thanks
Bye.
Anis.
Bye. Thank
Yeah,
you.
Thank you so much.
bye.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you,
you.
sir.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am. Bye.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, bye bye. So.